You know, there are very few people that I think we get this excited about, but Jon Oliver is sitting to my right, hosts the...
You're writing checks I can't cash here, but thank you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Hosts the incredible Last Week Tonight with Jon Oliver on HBO, obviously. And now, listen, first of all, before we get to that,
Yes.
You're from England, you grew up in England,
Yes.
but you're a big Mets fan, we've heard, since 2006, coinciding, I'm assuming, with when you joined The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
That's right. I think John made it pretty clear that being a Mets fan was mandatory, but also, as a real sports fan in England, I knew that it's just not acceptable to come to America and support the Yankees. It's just not okay. So, hence, by default, I was a Mets fan because I knew being a Yankee fan was the wrong thing to do morally.
What do you like about the game?
I guess I like the pace of it. It was the first American sport that I really got into because it has some common characteristics with sports in England, and I just love the whole occasion. So I brought this is my son's first baseball game. I have a 3.5-year-old, and it's his first baseball game today because he also cannot be a Yankee fan. He'll have other choices in his life. That's not going to be one of them.
You're really endearing yourself to the fan base right here. Jon, about your show, I mean, listen, it's so brilliantly done. Obviously, you have the comedic side, but there's the journalism side, too. How do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as a journalist?
Oh, no, very much as a comedian. Because I don't have the skills or the training for journalism, but we have people who trained in journalism who work for us, but it's a comedy show, first, second, and last.
What is the split on your staff of comedians and journalists?
It's a pretty good mix. We have 5 researchers who all have journalistic backgrounds. We've got footage producers who have journalistic backgrounds as well, but our comedy writers all come from the world of comedy.
How long does it take for you to really put a show together? Because those things cannot come together in 1 week.
No, we used to do it one story every week until we realized we were going to kill everybody in the building. So now we usually take at least a month on each of those long stories. So we're on like 4-week cycles. So we're working on 4 or 5 stories at any one moment.
How do you go about choosing them as Dixon grounds out here 2 away? What is that process of finding stories that you really want to dig into?
Just whatever we feel like we can bring something new to. It's like we try and show people things that they probably haven't seen before. There's a lot of feeding from the same trough at the moment, so we try and investigate and focus on stories that perhaps people don't know much about. Hence doing stories on lethal injection, which literally nobody wants to hear about.
What is your favorite one ever?
The favorite story?
Yeah.
My wife's a veteran, so we did a story about Iraqi and Afghan translators who'd worked with the US military, so I was very personally close to that. But also, whenever we do something like mind-blowingly stupid, that's normal. Like buying Russell Crowe's jockstrap was not something I thought I wanted to do, but boy, oh boy, it turned out to be a dream come true. Just a dream I didn't know I had.
Yeah, that's one that I would have thought came naturally, to be quite honest with you. When you go about putting these together, especially if you're doing something that will be controversial, how much fact-checking and double fact-checking goes into making sure that you're presenting everything correctly?
An absolutely monumental amount. So we have our scripts are pretty heavily lawyered, and we're always in some degree of trouble. So our researchers and our lawyers don't let us make a mistake, because if we make a mistake, it's probably the end.
Well, this is the end of this interview. I wish we could talk to you for the entire game.
What a smooth link out that was. Wow.
Jon Oliver, thank you so much. We're through 3.5 here. Mets trail Detroit 3-0.